Vallabha Girivanet Hari Ganavallabha Girivanet Hari Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Nana Brajagana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Nana Brajagana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachadi Yamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanet Hari Jana Vallabha Girivanet Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanet Hari Jana Vallabha Girivanet Hari Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Nana Brajagana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Nana Brajagana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Bhagavacharya Satarya Satrashri His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Anant Gauda Vaishnavimda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sakoshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki ISKCON founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shyamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Dham Ki Navadvip Dham Ki Jamuna Mai Ki Ganga Mai Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Bhakta Devi Ki Shri Radha Golokananda Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktarinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktarinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktarinda. So continuing our reading in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we're in Madhya Lila, chapter 15, and text 207. So here we have Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has invited Lord Chaitanya to eat at his house, lunch, and so he wanted him to come for 30 days. Initially, that's what but Lord Chaitanya was saying, no, 30 days is too much for a sannyasi. It's against the principles of a sannyasi. And so we have all kinds of regulative principles, but sannyasis have principles also. Lord Chaitanya says the dress of a sannyasi is a regulated principle. It's not a detail. So there's some negotiations, and so there were 10 sannyasis. Just a little bit of review here. I think Lord Chaitanya agreed to do 5 days. I think Srup Damodar 4 days. Each one of the sannyasis is 2 days each. And I think Paramananda Puri was 5 days or 4 days. Anyway, they all equaled up to 30 days, those arrangement that he had made. So here we are, and we're about to read about what was prepared for him. Text 207. First, 3 manas of cooked rice, almost 6 pounds, was poured onto a banana leaf. Big banana leaf for 6 pounds. That had to be a pretty big one. I don't know how much those bags of rice are that you buy in the store, those big pounds. They're probably about that weight or close to it, of rice. 3 manas. So I guess a mana is 2 pounds, apparently, because there are 6. Purport. This is the beginning of a description of the food prepared for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This description is given by Kaviraj Goswami, who, it is assumed, was an expert cook who knew both how to prepare and how to serve food. Yeah, devotees are really pretty good at cooking. Of course, he's also wasn't by himself. Srup Damodar sometimes would come also with him to prasadam. So the amount of rice was typically not just for one person. Then the whole stack of rice was mixed with so much yellowish and fragrant clarified butter that it began to overflow the leaf. This is also a description of when you say, Omaganda Timarandasha Gananjana Shilakaya Chakshu Omitam Yena Tajmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This also reminds me of like circumambulating when they worship in Govardhan, and they had, in the Gita Govinda, no, probably in there, but Jiva Goswami's book, where they had a description of Govardhan. What's it? Jiva Goswami, Gopal Champu. So they had the description of all the preparation. The whole village prepared food. They brought it there, and they had the same thing. Rice, mountains of rice, and the clarified butter was like waterfalls coming down. There are about 10 kinds of spinach. A soup called sukta, which was made with bitter nimba leaves. A pungent preparation made with black pepper. A mild cake made of fried curd. Wow. And buttermilk mixed with small fried pieces of dal. Wow. There were preparations of dugdha tumbi, dugdha kusmara, vesara, lapra, mocha gata, mocha, bhaja, and other vegetables. There was unlimited quantities of vrida, kusmanda, body, pula body, fruits, and various roots. And the translation is these are some types of dal, because I don't know what small fried pieces of another kind of dal. That's a pula body. It's in this. So 213. Other preparations included eggplant mixed with newly grown nimba leaves, fried together, light body, fried patola, and fried rounds of squash and pumpkins. There was soup made with fried urd dal and mung dal, Dafidi nectar. There were also sweet chutney and 5 or 6 kinds of sour preparations, beginning with badamla. There were badas made of mung dal or urd dal and of sweet bananas, and there were sweet rice cakes, coconut cakes, and various other cakes. I mean, this takes a long time to prepare. This must have a lot of help in that kitchen. There was kanji bada, dungda chida, dungha laki, and various cakes that I am unable to describe. Sweet rice mixed with ghee was poured into an earthen pot and mixed with champa kala, condensed milk, and mango. Hare Krishna. Other preparations included, this is just regular lunch. This is not even a Janmashtami feast. Other preparations included a very delicious curd, churned yogurt, and a variety of sandesh sweetmeats. Indeed, all the various eatables available in Bengal and Orissa were prepared. Thus, the Bhattacharya prepared a great variety of food and spread a fine cloth over a white wooden platform. On the 2 sides of the stack of food were pitchers filled with scented cold water. The flowers of the tulsi tree were placed atop the mound of rice. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also included several types of food that could be offered to Lord Jagannath. These included sweet balls known as Amrita Gutika, sweet rice and cakes. All these were kept separate. Could you imagine he's making this for Krishna, all this preparations. He's going to offer all this to the Lord. And directly he gets this opportunity. You kind of know why he wants 30 days. He wants to serve, Lord Chaitanya, when non-different as Krishna, every single day, as much as he can. I mean, there's the greed there. So you see the lobha in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, which is necessary for the ingredient of the spontaneous devotional service. Purport. Although the remnants of food left by Jagannath were brought into the Bhattacharya's house, they were kept separate from the preparations he had made at his home. It sometimes happens that prasadam is mixed with a larger quantity of food and then distributed. But in this case, we find that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya kept the Jagannath prasad separate. He kept it aside particularly for the satisfaction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 222. When everything was ready, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there alone after finishing his midday duties. He knew the heart of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. After Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya washed the Lord's feet, the Lord entered into the room to take his lunch. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a little astonished to see the gorgeous arrangement, and gesturing, he spoke to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. This is most uncommon. How is this arrangement of rice and vegetables finished within 6 hours? Wow. Even 100 men cooked on 100 stoves could not possibly finish all these preparations within a short time. I hope the food has already been offered to Krishna, since I see there are tulsi flowers on it. You are most fortunate, and your endeavor is successful, for you have offered such wonderful food to Radha Krishna. The color of the rice is so attractive, and its aroma is so good that it appears that Radha and Krishna have directly taken it. My dear Bhattacharya, your fortune is very great. How much shall I praise you? I also am very fortunate to be able to take the remnants of this food. Take away Krishna's sitting place and put it aside. Then give me prasadam on a different plate. Sarvabhauma, this is all for Lord Chaitanya, this whole preparation he's offering it to Krishna. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, "It is not so wonderful, my Lord. Everything has been made possible by the energy and mercy of him who will eat the food. My wife and I do not especially exert ourselves in the cooking. He by whose power the food has been prepared knows everything. Now please sit in this place and take your lunch." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "This place is worshipable because it was used by Krishna." Purport. According to etiquette, things used by Krishna should not be used by anyone else. Similarly, things used by the spiritual master should also not be used by anyone else. This is etiquette. Whatever is used by Krishna or the spiritual master is worshipable. In particular, their sitting or eating places should not be used by anyone else. A devotee must be very careful to observe this. I know that, Prabhupada would sometimes give things away, like his sweaters and things to, and it's like Shri talks about this, and so, well, it's a worshipable item, how can I wear this? But I think Prabhupada clarified that it's when the spiritual master is on the planet. If he gives you things like this, you use them. It's okay to use them, but then after he leaves, then those same items become worshipable. So there is a little bit of distinction there and that. Okay, any comments? 236. What? 237. 235. We'll get there. Okay. The Bhattacharya said, "Both the food and the sitting place are the Lord's mercy. If you can eat the remnants of the food, what is the offense in your sitting in this place?" All right, it's a little bit of logic there, not bad. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, "Yes, you have spoken correctly. The Shastras enjoin that a devotee can partake of everything left by Krishna." My dear Lord, the garlands, scented substances, garments, ornaments, and other such things that have been offered to you may later be used by your servants. By partaking of these things and eating the remnants of food you have left, we will be able to conquer the illusionary energy. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:646 in the Hare Krishna movement. Let me just do something here. The chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the dancing in ecstasy, and the eating of the remnants of food offered to the Lord are very, very important. One may be illiterate or incapable of understanding the philosophy, but if he partakes in these three items, he will certainly be liberated without delay. Okay? Those three items again are the chanting of the Maha Mantra, the dancing in ecstasy, and eating the remnants of food to the Lord are very, very important. That's kind of simple process. Eating the remnants of the food, taking prasadam. So, chanting, dancing, and eating prasadam, Krishna's mercy. Okay, so this verse was spoken by Uddhava to Krishna. This was during the time when Uddhava Gita was spoken. At that time, there was some disturbance in Dwarka, And Lord Krishna decided to leave the material world and enter the spiritual world. Uddhava could understand the situation, and he talked with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This verse quoted above is an excerpt of their conversation. Sri Krishna's pastimes in the material world are called prakata lila, manifest pastimes. And his pastimes in the spiritual world are called aprakata lila, unmanifested pastimes. And his pastimes in the spiritual world, by unmanifested, we mean that they are not present before our eyes. It is not that Lord Krishna's pastimes are non-existent. They are going on exactly as the sun is shining perpetually. But when the sun is present before our eyes, we call it daytime, manifest. And when it is not present, we call it unmanifest. Those who are above the jurisdiction of night are always in the spiritual world, where the Lord's pastimes are constantly manifest to them. As the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 37 and 38 confirms. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitatis Taibirya Eva Ninja Rupataya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivastya Yakilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusam Tamaham Bhajami Premangana Charita Bhakti Vilochena Satta Sadaiva Hrid Deshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Atkincha Guna Swarupa Govinda Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who resides in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, who resembles his own spiritual figure, and who embodies the ecstatic potency, Haldini. Their companions are her confidants, who embody extensions of her bodily form, and who are imbued and permeated with ever blissful spiritual rasa. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shamasundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts, with their eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. Pretty sweet. Krishna mentions here that Krishna was going to leave the material world, and sometimes these pastimes are confused. You know, how can God be killed by a hunter? And I was just reading Chaitanya Prabhupada's talking about this in a purport later. We'll get to about these pastimes and what we just reading about all the wives. We're going to read about all the Krishna capturing all the wives. You know, these kings. You know, he marries these 16,000 wives. You know, Vishnu pulling 2 hairs out of his head. These activities happen, but they can be very confused if not explained in proper context. You know, they can be very easily misconstrued. You know, like the Lord being, like it's mentioned here, he wants to leave, but then how that process actually happened, and then how it's explained. Okay. 238. And of course, the Charyas, they are the ones that unwrap it and unpack it, like the 2 hairs. Prabhupada quotes a verse from, in which, I can't remember which canto it is. I think it's the 3rd or 4th canto. It talks about how beautiful Krishna's hair is. And then the Charyas, like Jiva Goswami and his Sandarbhas, they point to Sridhar Swami's commentary, and what that means is that Krishna didn't expand from any black and white hair. That Kshirodakshana Vishnu, when Brahma came to the milk ocean, and they had this burden of the earth, and how are we going to deal with it? And so Vishnu was saying, this is not a burden, just 2 of my hairs can handle this problem. This is not a big problem. Of course, they were thinking this is a huge thing. And so he describes it, that they represented his potencies, these two hairs. They represent Krishna's potency. That they can easily, just those little bit of potency can defeat this. This is not a very big task. Okay, 238. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, there is so much food here that it is impossible to eat it all. The Bhattacharya replied, I know how much you can eat. After all, at Jagannath Puri, you can eat 52 times a day, and each time you eat, hundreds of buckets filled with prasadam. At Dwarka, you keep 16,000 queens and 16,000 palaces. Also, there are 18 mothers and numerous friends and relatives of the Yanu dynasty. I wonder if those 18 mothers on the list of those. Okay, 241. In Vrindavan, you also have your father's elder brothers, your father's younger brothers, maternal uncles, husbands of your father's sisters, and many cowherd men. There are also cowherd boyfriends, and you eat twice a day, morning and evening, in the house, and each and every one. So Krishna's pastimes are always going on perpetually. So what he's being offered and eating is also perpetually. It's just unlimited. There's no end to it. So here we go, purport. In Dwarka, Lord Krishna had 18 mothers. Here we go. Devaki, Rohini, and others. Besides these, there was his foster mother, Yasoda in Vrindavan. Lord Krishna also had many uncles, as stated by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Briyat Sri Sri Radha Krishna Ganadesh Dipika, number 32. Upanado Binadis Cha Pritri Vow Purva Ya Pitu. The elder brothers of Nanda Maharaj was Upananda and Abhinanda. Similarly, in the same verse, the names of the younger brothers of Nanda Maharaj are given. Prithvi Trivyo to Kani Yamsu. Satyam Sanandana Nandano. Sanandana and Nandana are also known as Sunandana and Pandava, were the younger brothers of Krishna's father, Nanda Maharaj. Sri Krishna's maternal uncles are also described in this book. In verse 46, Yasodhara, Yasodeva, Sudevas Dayas tu Matula. Yasoda, Yasodeva, and Sudevi were the maternal uncles of Krishna. Also mentioned in the Radha Krishna Ganadesh Dipika, number 38, are Krishna's uncles who were the husbands of Nanda Maharaj's sisters, Mahanili, Sunilas, Cha, Ramanav, Nave, Tayok, Kramat. Mahanila and Sunila are the husbands of Krishna's aunts. So we have just a small but large example here Prabhupada gives us. 242. Indeed, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya continued. At Govardhan Puja ceremony, you ate stacks of rice. In comparison to that, this small quantity is not even a morsel for you. You are the supreme personality of Godhead, whereas I am the most insignificant living being. Therefore, please accept a little quantity of food from my house. Purport. A sannyasi is expected to collect a little food from each and every householder. That is to say, he should take whatever he requires to eat. This system is called madhukari. The word madhukari comes from the word madhukara and means honey collecting bees. Bees collect a little honey from each flower, but all these small quantities of honey accumulate, become a beehive. Sannyasis should collect a little from each and every householder and should eat simply what is necessary to maintain the body. Being a sannyasi, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could collect a little food from the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and this was the Bhattacharya's request. Compared to the food eaten by the Lord on other occasions, Bhattacharya's feast was not even a morsel. This is what the Bhattacharya is pointing out to the Lord. So he's pretty good arguments, you've laid on him. 244. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and sat down to eat. The Bhattacharya, with great pleasure, first offered him the prasadam from the Jagannath temple. At this time, the Bhattacharya had a son-in-law named Amoga, who was the husband of his daughter Sati. Although born in an aristocratic Brahmin family, Amoga was a great fault-finder and a blasphemer. Amoga wanted to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eat, but he was not allowed to enter. Indeed, the Bhattacharya guarded the threshold of his house with a stick in his hand. However, as soon as the Bhattacharya began distributing prasadam and was a little inattentive, Amoga came in. Seeing the quantity of food, he began to blaspheme. This much food is sufficient to satisfy 10 or 12 men, but this sannyasi alone is eating so much. As soon as Amoga said this, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya turned his eyes upon him. Seeing the Bhattacharya's attitude, Amoga immediately left. The Bhattacharya ran after him to strike him with a stick, but Amoga fled so fast that the Bhattacharya could not catch him. The Bhattacharya then began to curse his son-in-law and call him ill names. When the Bhattacharya returned, he saw that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was laughing to hear him criticize Amoga. When Sati's mother, the Bhattacharya's wife, heard of this incident, she immediately began to strike her head and chest, saying again and again, "Let Sati become a widow." Seeing the lamentation of both husband and wife, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried to pacify them. According to their desire, he ate the prasadam and was very satisfied. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finished eating, the Bhattacharya poured water for the Lord to wash his mouth, hands, and legs, and offered him flavored spices, tulsi manjaris, cloves, and cardamom. The Bhattacharya then placed a flower garland over Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and smeared his body with sandalwood pulp. After offering obeisances, the Bhattacharya submitted the following humble request. "I brought you to my home just to have you blaspheme. This was a great offense. Please excuse me. I beg your pardon." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "What Amoga has said is correct. Therefore, it is not blasphemy. What is your offense?" Of course, blaspheming is making a false accusation. Bhaktisiddhanta gives clear definition of this in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. When you make a false accusation against somebody, that's what's blasphemy. That's the mad elephant. It's like when the at the house of Sridhar, at the house of, when they have the kirtans at the house of, not Sridhar, but Malati's husband, Srivas, Srivas. And some of the envious people put this Durga worship paraphernalia outside his house. When they came out and they saw this, they wanted to implicate that he was actually worshiping, something other than what he was actually doing. So that's blasphemy. Okay, 258. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left and returned to his residence. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya followed him. Falling down at the Lord's feet, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said many things in self-reproach. The Lord then pacified him and sent him back home. After returning to his home, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya consulted with his wife, the mother of Stati. After personally condemning himself, he began to speak as follows. If the man who blasphemes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is killed, his sinful action may be atoned. Purport. Hari Bhaktivilas cites the following quotation from the Shanka Purana concerning the blaspheming of a Vaishnav. Yohi Bhagavat Lokam Upassan Nirpotama Karoti Tasha Nashati Artha Dharma Yasa Sutta. Nindam Kurvati Ye Mudha Vaishnavanam Mahatmanam. Patanti Priti Bi Sardam Maharava Sam Gite. Hanti Nidati Vesti Vaisnavam Nibhinandati. Kudyate Yate No Harsam Darsane Patanandi Sat. In a conversation between Markandeya and Bhargirath, it is said, "My dear king, one who derides an exalted devotee loses the results of his pious activities, his opulence, his reputation, and his sons. Vaishnavas are all great souls. Whoever blasphemes them falls down to the hell known as Maharava, accompanied by his forefathers." You're dragging everybody down with you. Pretty bad. Whereas if you're a Vaishnava, you bring everybody up with you. Whatever kills or blasphemes a Vaishnava, and whoever kills or blasphemes a Vaishnava, whoever is envious of a Vaishnava or angry with him, or whoever does not offer him obeisances or feel joy upon seeing him, certainly falls into a hellish condition. Also, the Hari Bhakti Vilas 10.314 gives the following quotation from the Dvarka Mahatmya. Kara pratascha palyante suti ravar yamasanai. Nindam korvanti ye papa vaishnavanam mahatmanam. In a conversation between Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj, it is said, "Those sinful people who blaspheme Vaishnavas, who are great souls, are subjected to very severely to be." Who are the great? Let me start this over. Those sinful people who blaspheme Vaishnavas, who are all great souls, are subjected to very severely to be punished. Yeah, this is not written correctly. Very severely to the punishment offered by Yamaraj. And the Bhakti Sandarbha 3.13, Jiva Goswami quotes a statement concerning the blasphemy of Lord Vishnu. Nidnati rishikesam tad bhaktam punya rupinam sata jamar jitam punyam tesam nashyati nishchitam te pachyate mahagore kumbhipake bayanake Vaksita kita sanhena yayak chandra divakarao. Sri Vishnur avamanandam guruptaram Sri Vaishnavavo langanam. Tadidya duksaka ganam napashyat purush sadhanam. Tahi sardam vakakya gyan nai sahavasam nakara yet. One who criticizes Lord Vishnu and his devotees loses all the benefits accrued and 100 pious births. Such a person rots in the Kumbhikanka hell and is bitten by worms as long as the sun and moon exist. One should therefore not even see the face of a person who blasphemes Lord Vishnu and his devotees. Never try to associate with such persons. In his Bhakti Sandarbha 265, Jiva Goswami further quotes from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 74, text 40. Nidam Bhagavat Srinas Tat Parash Janasva Tato Napatiyaso Piyata An Parasukchuta. If one does not immediately leave upon hearing the Lord or the Lord's devotees blaspheme, he falls down from devotional service. Similarly, Lord Shiva's wife Sati states in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 4, text 17, Kaurapidya niradyat isse dharma vitarya asnibir nibir ashyamane chendayat prasaya rustam asam prabhasche jivam asum apitato rishrijet sa dharma. If one hears an irresponsible person blaspheme the master and controller of religion, he should block his ears and go away if unable to punish him. But if one is able to kill him, then one should try to, by force, cut out the blasphemer's tongue and kill the offender. After that, he should give up his own life. Pretty harsh, you know. I don't recommend anybody. Yeah. It's not going to be that easy to begin with. And, you know, it's just, like I already described here, that the punishment is going to come naturally. You know, the best thing we can do is either just leave the situation. You know, we don't have to stay there, you know, unless you're tied down and being deprogrammed, you know, like devotees, some of the devotees in early days were kidnapped. Their parents had them kidnapped, and they were subjected to the, you know, some of this stuff, yes. Yeah. We just chant Hare Krishna or just Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. We say that sometimes when the Lord would say this. If you hear somebody committing a blaspheming and you hear it, the atonement is to leave immediately. That's what they're just saying to do here. Yeah. So that's the counter. That's what you do. The counter is that you just chant Hare Krishna. Even if you blaspheme somebody unknowingly or do something inappropriately, the cure is to keep chanting and try to get and ultimately get forgiveness from that person if it's really you've caused a really bad situation. You try to, if you were blaspheming, you've got to get forgiveness from what you've done, your offense. But ultimately, you just chant Hare Krishna as the cure for everything. Get up and leave and chant Hare Krishna. It's what? Yeah, we can't, that's no way we can, you can't be, it's a different time and a different place. And this normally Kshatriyas would handle this type of things, you know. This is different, you know, this is left to the police force. It's a contamination, yeah, that's why you got to leave, yeah. So you be very careful about who you associate with. See, that's all. Yes. Okay. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya continued, or if I give up my own life, this sinful action may be atoned. However, neither of these ideas is befitting because both bodies belong to the Brahmins. So it's even sinful to commit suicide too. So it's a, you know, these are extremely reaction to do something like that. That's an completely extreme. Huh? Instead, I shall never see the face of that blasphemer. I reject him and give up my relationship with him. I shall never even speak his name. 264. Did you? Inform my daughter, Stati, who abandoned her relationship with her husband because he has fallen down. When the husband falls down, it is the wife's duty to relinquish the relationship. Anyway, I'm going to stop right there. It's a huge purport. We're never going to get through that. So we'll stop. 264, we'll start with that next time, 264. Anybody have any comments? I mean, this Hari Bhakti Vilas is very difficult. And it's described if you circumambulate the temple just one time. Typically, you do it 4 times. If you do it, Bhaktisiddhanta says that if you just do it one time, you're in a hurry, you don't have, that you lose all your accumulated pious credits.
not your devotional credits, right? Your mode of goodness credits. It's pretty. That's what the Hari Bhakti Vilas. This is according to Hari Bhakti Vilas. So we could really depress ourselves reading the rules and regulations. It's just, as Prabhupada said, it's not meant for us in the West. Accumulated pious credits. Pious credits is things you've done in the mode of goodness, and you get the result. Just circumambulate it one time and then leave it. You should do it 4 times. Proper intent, but of course he didn't say proper intent. He actually is describing how you circumambulate, like the sun god 7 times. You circumambulate. I'm trying to think. Shiva. Guess how many times you circumambulate Shiva? 1/2. That's what he said. He describes. This is in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. You know, he. What? 4 times. Or more. But they say it's described that you do at least go around 4 times. I'm trying to think. It's Ganesh 3 times, Krishna 4, Chandi the sun god 1. Chandi 1, sun god. Chandi is the moon god. Chandi, the sun god, is 7 times. Okay, enough of that. It's if you go around the temple 4 times, it's equal to going to all the holy places. Okay.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Kriya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiranganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Jago, Gora Chandra Mole, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra Bole, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra Jaya Maya, Picha Chira Kole, Kota Nidra Jaya Maya, Picha Chira Kole, Bajibo Bolia Eshe, Samsara Bitore, Bajibo Bolia Eshe, Samsara Bitore, Bulia Rohile to me, Avidyara Bare, Bulia Rohile to me, Avidyara More, Domare Loite Ami, Oinu Avatara, Domare Loite Ami, Ami Bina Bandhu Ara, Keache Tomara, Ami Bina Nuara, Ene Jaya Shadi Maya, Nashi Baralagi, Ene Jaya Shadi Maya, Nashi Baralagi, Harinama Maha Mantra, loud to me Magi, 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 Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu, Charane Pariya, Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu, Charane Pariya, say Hari Nama Mantra, Loyla Magiya, 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 Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra Bole, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra Jaya Maya, Picha Chira Kole, Kota Nidra Jaya Maya, Chachira Mole, Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga Bole, Nitai Goranga. Nitai Gauranga Bole. Jai Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana Bole. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana Bole. Gora Hari Jaya, Gora Hari, Gora Hari Jaya, Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Gora Hari Jaya, 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 Gora Hari Jaya, Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radhe Jaya, Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radha Jaya, Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radhe Jaya, Radha Golokananda, Radha Kananda Radhe Jaya, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan Jaya, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan Jaya, Giri Govardhan Jaya, Giri Govardhan Jaya, Radhe Jaya, Radhe Jaya, Radhe Jaya, Shri Radhe Jaya, Radhe Jaya, Radhe Jaya, Radhe Jaya, Shri Radhe. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Goloka Nanda ki jai, Shri Sankirtan Yagna ki jai. Lord Gaurachandra is calling. Wake up, sleeping soul. Wake up, sleeping soul. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the cycle of birth and death. I have descended just to save you. I am your only true friend. Other than me, what friend do you have? I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion which you suffer. Take this great chant of deliverance, Maha Mantra, the names of Hari. Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur, falling at the Lord's lotus feet, take shelter of the Harinam Mantra, the Lord's holy names. And there'll be Harinam Sankirtan today, 11:30 at Weaver Street. And we'll go to 1 or 1:30, depending on the weather, etc. So please come to Weaver Street Market at 11:30 for Harinam. 1. Maybe longer, but at least a 1. Chaito Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadani Nirvanam Shreya Kairavya Dandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Ramparita Swadanam Vidayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudan Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita niyamita smaranena kala etadrishita vakriba bhagavan mamapi durdaiva midrishami hajjani nanuraga trinadapi sunichena chororapi suhishuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari nadanam najanam nasundarim Kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmani ishvare bhavatad bhaktir ayinanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddha gribhayata vabada pankaja stita duli sadrashim vachintaya nayanam galadashru daraya varanam gadgadurudaya gira pulakarnishitam vapukada Tavanamagrahane bhavishyati yugayatam namishena chakshusha pravashayatam shunayatam jagat sarvam govindam virahena me Ashlishyavapadamritam anastumam adarshanam marma hatakarotuva yatatatava vidadatulam matprananatastu saivanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he remains so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to anything and everything, for he's always my Lord unconditionally.